Hurts takes the snap. He's back. He's going to run. He's in! Touchdown! Jalen Hurts! The Eagles are just devouring the Giants. And it is A.J. Brown again! Another touchdown!
Welcome back to another episode of the Link Lineup Radio. I'm back for the first time in what feels like forever. Didn't think I'd miss talking into a mic, talking to you guys as much as I would, but it's been a lonely week. For those of you who don't know, I was in the path of old Hurricane. Was it Helene? Something like that. And without giving too much details of where I live 4 hours away from a beach. Nothing happens here where I live. We live too close to the mountains, so snow doesn't really affect us. We live too far away from the beach and the ocean, so that shouldn't affect us. And we got hammered by that hurricane, and I just got power back. When was it? Wednesday night. So I went 5 days without power, and I was stuck at work on Friday morning when it hit for about 5 hours without any power, without cell phone service, and I was just drenched in wet clothes. Every way home that I could find was blocked by a tree, and it was rough. It was definitely rough. Shout out to Mama Turner, though. She had the generator, so I was able to watch the Eagles game on Sunday. Dude, thank God we had hot spots at her place, and yeah, we're back. We're back, and I wish I could talk about that game. And we will talk about it a little bit, but this is about. I think we're 1/4 into the Eagles season, and so each quarter we're going to do a quarterly check-in, and that's what this is going to be. It's going to be a quarterly check-in. I got Bryce with me as always. And you got me, Chase as well. So yeah, let's talk about the Eagles, how we're feeling. But first, we'll briefly discuss the tragedy of a game that was last Sunday. I knew we were going to lose. I'm always going to pick the Eagles to win, even if my gut tells me no. I'm always going to pick them to lose or win. Yeah, sorry. But I knew, we all knew deep down inside that without Lane, without AJ, without Devontae, it wasn't going to be easy for sure. And a lot of people are overreacting, in my opinion, about the Eagles, and rightfully. I mean, they have every right to feel the way they feel, but hopefully, we can take this bye week and kind of get realistic. I know that game was not what anybody expected, especially from the defense. But here we are. I do want to talk about some things, though, and these are my talking points for this episode. So let's talk about the first thing that I've seen people complain about on Twitter from the past game was we didn't get the ball to Saquon enough. Well, here's the problem. It was hot, and he was asking to be off the field. And so...
And we was also down early, a lot. So once you get down that much, we're playing chuck the ball now. We're going to start throwing it around and try to score as quickly as possible.
Yeah. So 1 second. There we go. Boom. We're back. Yeah. So the game plan right away wasn't great. It was fun to see them come out in 21 personnel. Will Shipley was out there with Saquon. That was fun. It looked like a promising start, and then they just abandoned it. It seemed like they just panicked the whole game once they got down, and that's something that shouldn't happen. And knowing what they knew ahead of time with the injuries and whatnot, you don't want to put yourself in as big as a hole as they put themselves in. You want to make the game plan easy. You know you're missing your top weapons, and you just want to make it a little bit easier, and they didn't do a good job of it. But yeah, I mean, you could have given the ball to Saquon a lot, especially on first down. You could really try to set the tone for those sequence of plays. Giving the ball to him on second down, on 2nd and 10, typically doesn't work in the NFL. So I wish they would have gave it to him earlier, but I'm not mad at him for like when he broke off that 60-yard run, and everybody's like, "Oh, where's he at? He's tired. He's huffing and puffing." And I don't know if you saw he had
Like
his
108 degrees outside. Hell no,
Yeah.
I'd be gassed too.
and then he had his ankle taped up, so because he got rolled up on earlier in the game.
Yeah.
So like you can't blame him. What do you think? Do you think? I know you where you were last Sunday, and we haven't really talked about football since then. So
Yeah.
where do you fall on like the Saquon topic?
I'm in the part where on the topic of people talking about like where was he at and why wasn't he getting the ball a lot more. I was on the side of, well, you're down. At one point, it was like 21-0, I think, at that point. And in the NFL, you can't just run the ball down that much, and especially in that conditions. And to be fair, I know both teams had to play that day, but you can't run the ball 6 to 8 times in a row in that kind of weather. So me personally, I felt like that was just they were ready for the bye week. They were like, get me the hell off this field and get me out of this game so we can just chalk this up and get ready for after the bye. But on the terms of Saquon, I don't really know. I don't really have much of an opinion on it. I think people were kind of losing their minds for absolutely nothing.
Yeah. So one thing that I know we definitely disagreed on Sunday, and I'm curious to see where we are now, is this is the hottest topic on Eagles Twitter, is that Jalen Hurts has regressed. I don't think he has. I know people are mad about the fumble that happened in the red zone. It sucks. It was very unfortunate. But like the same things that we begged him to do last year and the year before, he's doing them now, and now we're getting upset that he's doing it. And yes, it sucked that ended up being a fumble, but if he has half a second longer, guess what? That's a touchdown to Grant Calcaterra. And then we're looking at that as a positive. He sidestepped Levante David, stepped up into the pocket, and delivered a strike to Grant Calcaterra. Now, unfortunately, Levante David is one of the more he might not be as athletic as he once was, but he's still one of the more athletic linebackers in the NFL. And he was able to make up some ground and, strip sack Jalen Hurts from behind. But I like what I saw from Jalen. I mean, he did what he had to do. It's just he brought him back, and then he fumbled the ball. But as far as that play goes, do you still fault Jalen?
A little bit, yeah. The reason I fault it because of like you talked about, we've seen him do this stuff before where so he'll make a man miss, he'll make a guy miss, step up in the pocket, and it's like he completely forgets that guy still exists. It's not like that guy is just getting blocked anymore. Obviously, he came through and you made him miss, and nobody else was able to. Nobody can pick up that block. I mean, he's still a free rusher. Just because you make him miss once doesn't mean he's not there anymore. I just think his pocket awareness is just not great. I don't like when he bails out of a pocket. I think he sometimes he bails a little too early. And he always rolls to the right. I mean, it's easy to game plan against him when, like, if you break down, watch film, if he's going somewhere, he's always going to go to the right. And That's just what made me mad a lot that game is because like his his awareness when he's inside the pocket is just not great right now, and I don't know what is causing it. It's just like he forgets that that rusher is still there sometimes.
Well, here's where I'm going to give him some graces. I think that obviously he's not turning around and looking to see where he is because you can't do that. You physically can't do that. Otherwise, when you turn back around, guess what? You're going to get popped. Um, but I think he saw that Saquon had him. Like Saquon was getting knocked over, so I think he maybe thought that Saquon was either going to get up and continue to like slow him down. But I mean, Levante David didn't go too far behind him relative to probably what Jalen thought. Jalen probably thought he was probably 5 yards behind him and had plenty of time. It's not like he was standing in the pocket like a statue. He was stepping up a little bit. So if you watch it and like you really just like watch it with like an open mind instead of like the mindset of like a fan, you kind of see where maybe I'm coming from, and if not, that's okay too. But I don't think he played as bad as most people think. Um, it's just like earlier that game when Dallas Goedert had that drop. You know, if he catches that ball and he's moving, the game could have been totally different, and we're talking about a whole different thing. I think the start of the game really set the Eagles' offense up for failure later on. um, next thing I want to talk about, because this one's funny, is Avonte Maddox. So there's two things
Gotta
I want to
go.
talk. There's two things I want to talk about. One is the missed tackle where he just dove into no man's land. I thought it was hilarious in real time when I saw it because it was like, oh yeah, he's there, and it's like, oh no, he's not. He put his head down and just did not pay attention to anything. And then two, the Fortnite clip. What are you doing,
Brother,
my
we're getting
friend?
blown out, and you get to talk, and we're talking about Fortnite right now.
Yeah, that's
The
such
fuck?
like a that's such like a loser, like energy to me. It's just like have some pride, you know. And I know like once you get to like the NFL, you probably don't feel as passionate as like the fans do, which is weird because you know when I grew up playing sports, and even whenever, no matter what it does, like what I do competitively now, um, whether it's like video games or whatever the case may be, even if it was like church league basketball, you know, I'm gonna, I'm still
That's a
gonna.
crazy example.
I mean, I'm still gonna be competitive. I'm gonna get mad if we lose. Like I'm gonna be mad, but like it just seems like the new like crop of talent. Just some of them just don't care.
Don't care. Yeah.
Like they're talented and they have all the talent in the world, but they just don't care. I'm not talking about Avonte Maddox. He doesn't have all the talent in the world, but it's just weird. I mean, like I love Quinyon Mitchell. Just
He's the only guy on that defense right now that seems to have that dog mentality. I know that sounds cliche from especially this team, but that kind of mentality and who can back it up with his play at the same time. The only one I think of is Jalen Carter. I mean, and he was kind of non-existent in that Bucks game, but
yeah,
it was hot, man. It was
it
hot.
was hot, and the offense wasn't helping them out either.
Yeah.
And then also the game plan was not helping them out either because you're just letting them kill you. Just quick plays, and they're just picking up chunk yardage and they're just eating up at the clock, and it's tough.
I remember texting you at the beginning of the game, like halfway through the Bucks first drive, and I was like, we're about to just get murdered by the flats today. Nobody can cover a flat. Like it seems like nobody's within 10 to 15 yards of flats.
Yeah. I would argue that CJ has that dog in him, but he has the attitude. He just hasn't performed.
I mean, well, I was meaning like they have that mentality and they can also they're performing. They're backing it up. And Quinyon seems to be one of the only ones right now. I think Reed got some hate from last game because I guess a couple of missed tackles, but Reed's been playing pretty well in my opinion. just the defense in the whole just did not have a good game. Everybody
Yeah.
played bad.
Yeah, that's I don't know. We'll talk about I think a stat that I can recall. But my last question for you before we kind of start diving into like the quarterly check-in part is before the season we did a record prediction episode. I can't remember what you had us at, but at this point in the season, where did you have us at? You have us 3-1.
Trying to think. So it was
Packers,
Falcons,
Saints,
Saints.
and Bucks.
To be honest, I think I had us 4-0 here, but
I know I had us 3-1.
I think I had us 4-0.
Now, let me ask you this question: if I said at some point in the season, in this first 4-game stretch, we were going to be without AJ for 2 games or 3 games, without Devontae for a game and a half, and without Lane for a game and a half, how would you feel?
Nah,
Okay.
4-0 is out the window.
Yeah. So I would say
That's what I was been thinking of though, like especially with the offense side. Dude, we've been killed on the offense when it comes to injuries. So I don't really know what the true game plan is, like what Kellen's like philosophy or scheme is going to be like, because we've only seen it for one game
Right.
of like a full offense. And obviously I still think AJ is probably the focal point of the offense. And we haven't been able to see him since week 1. So hopefully next week he's back. Surely to God he will be, but
Yeah, I think if you're looking at the true identity of the Eagles, look no further than the Packers game, really, because that's when the offense looked like a good offense. I mean, we had motion, we had big time plays. I mean, we were moving the ball at will. I mean, granted, the field sucked, but I mean, it was nice. It was fun to watch, and I think that's the true offense. I think this past week, I don't know if they got lazy, maybe, if you want to call it that, or what the case was, but it seemed like there was no game plan.
we just can. For another thing, we cannot handle Todd Bowles for some reason. His defensive philosophy is just something that we have never been able to do well against.
Except when we have AJ Brown, we are 1-0 with AJ Brown. We are 0 whatever without AJ Brown. So if we meet the Bucks in the playoffs, AJ better be healthy, because if not, we're in trouble. And I think people are kind of forgetting like how much AJ brings to the team, and to Jalen. If you look at a lot of the tape, it seems like there is a trust issue with the other receivers and Jalen. And I mean, once the big guys come back, it's going to be better. I'm not worried about the offense. The defense is what I'm more worried about.
Right.
But I can't remember who I was listening to this past week, but they mentioned, I want to say it was Ruben Dave, that the Dolphins last year, the first like 4 weeks, they had like a super low success rate on defense, and then as time went back on, they got
they got
better
a
and
lot
better.
better at the end of the year.
But
And a lot of it, they didn't have Javon Bullard for a lot of time last year. Not Javon Bullard, Holland. Is it Javon Holland? Yeah. One of their key players on defense. They lost Jalen Phillips too last year. They lost Bradley Chubb, I think, last year too.
but I think they'll get better. I think I'm over the Fangio scheme.
I hate it. Just
I
the philosophy behind the scheme. We've dealt with it for what, almost 5 years now, and I hate it. It sucks. I like the death by 1,000 cuts kind of defense. I can't stand it. The whole bend but don't break. To me, it just takes every bit of momentum out of a game, like out
Yeah.
of anything that you could do.
And as a fan, it's frustrating whenever you see Baker Mayfield just slice and dice your defense for 5 yards at a time. And then on offense, Jalen can't even attempt to pass because they got cornerbacks lined up at the line of scrimmage, meeting their receivers, disrupting the timing of everything. And
Like when we get into 3rd and 4 situations, like on defense,
game over.
yeah, it's first down. Like I don't have a lot of faith of them making a stop just because, for one, our corners are lined up 8 yards back.
I think I have a hot take. Maybe it's not that hot. I think Darius Slay should be benched.
I do too.
I think that the one thing that he brought to the table that he hasn't done well in the past 2 years or so is playmaking ability. I know he's 33, 34 now. He's only had 2 picks, I think, the past 30-something games, 31, 32 games.
Yeah, I remember Rube and Dave were talking about it.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. And, like, to go on social media after the game and just state
laugh at a teammate?
No, just like the tweet where he
Yeah.
posted his accolades. Buddy, we live in the present, Darius.
Yeah.
You've
been in the league for fucking 12 years.
I would
You
hope
should
you'd
have
those
all-
stats.
Yeah.
But like kudos to you for having a great career, but we're talking about now. And I don't know. And then I do think that the Micah Parsons clip that is going around, I think people are overreacting to. Because I don't think he was like, haha, CJ's a dumbass. He was like, he's my guy. We told him, you talk, you better back it up, But I'd also like to see a little bit of fire from Darius Slay. At this point, I'd rather have James Bradbury out there because, he would at least fight.
Be accountable.
Yeah.
He would hold himself accountable to it.
That's a. I might have to fix my mic because my mic is messed up. But put it back over. Where'd it go? We'll use this for now. But I've never seen him hold himself accountable.
The only time he'll ever hold himself accountable is like when he'll go on Twitter and say, "My bad, Eagles fans, blah blah blah, this and that." He doesn't ever talk about his actual play. At least James will come out and say that he has not played well. He realized he didn't play well last year. I mean, he'll hold himself accountable for it. But other than that, I just don't like the way you handled that, or he did that. I get it. The times have changed. The world of sports is moving differently. 20-something years ago, you would have never seen a player go on a rival team's podcast and just kind of be buddy-buddy with them. I get that their families are close and they've trained together a lot, but leave that there, especially not in the middle of a fucking season when you're both competing for a divisional title and fighting for the playoffs. And you're in 2 separate franchises who have hated each other for a long, long time. That's something you don't do. And especially go on there and laugh with an opposing player about one of your teammates who you see in the locker room every day. Darius, you got to do better than that. That was pitiful.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. But I mean, I don't know why he's a captain. I know we've seen this year in year out where he'll hop online. He'll be fresh out the shower in the locker room, and he's hopping online defending himself. Just say, hey, my bad. Just first thing that pop out of your mouth, I didn't play that great, and we would love you and appreciate you a lot more, but we don't care about your stats from the past. We care about now. Because I still think this team's talented enough to win it all.
I don't think he'll be here next year.
He shouldn't be. And I think Keeley should have more reps out there.
Keeley's played well with the time that he's had to play.
Yeah, and in the times that he has to play,
he's got fucking heart.
Yeah, and his mistakes, it's hard to come off the bench and play in a position that you're uncomfortable with. He's playing in off coverage. You know what Keeley's best at? Just being in somebody's grill and then running with them.
Yeah. It
I know.
helps.
I know.
Helps when
Queon
you're about 6'2" and you can run a
fast,
low 4.3. Yeah.
and I know Q. He's better off coverage, but like he can get up there too to disrupt some timing. I don't think he's terrible at that. I don't know why they haven't asked him to do it, but I like what I see from our young corners.
I expect to see Cooper DeJean play a lot more next week.
Yeah, I think we'll start seeing him in the nickel over Vontae Maddox. I think that Coop is going to allow us to run like nickel defenses and have a better success rate against the run. Because like Avonte Maddox doesn't offer hardly anything against the run. In fact, I still don't know why they have Avonte Maddox out there to begin with. It just
Right.
doesn't make sense to me. I think Coop should have been there at the beginning the whole time, or I think they should have just had Keely be the outside guy and Q on the inside. I think we'd be much better off. And congrats to Avonte Maddox for not having an injury yet. But I think it's time for you to hang him up, man. I don't see a spot for you anymore.
I mean,
I
then
just,
you still got Isaiah Rogers. I get it; he's an outside guy, but
that stupid penalty, man, or the non-penalty. Oh man, I was so mad at him. He's still betting, man. He's still got to be betting. Somebody check his FanDuel account.
isn't he from Florida? Like he's from somewhere in Florida, and that's what got him suspended.
Oh really?
Yeah. I don't know if he was betting, but he said some, like, I think, because I remember him in like explaining kind of what happened. Somebody,
He's from
like,
Tampa.
yeah, somebody he knows, one of his family members, I guess, was like betting off of his phone
Yeah.
or on his account. I guess I don't fucking know. In Tampa, like at home, and that's what got him suspended.
Yeah, he's still got to be gambling, man. Because there's no reason. Why did he do it? Like, I get your savvy veteran move thing, but like it was so stupid. And then to top it off, oh, they like Coop, man. I don't know.
Poor Coop, dude.
Yeah,
He was getting killed back there.
he was just trying to catch a punt, man. That's all he was trying to do.
He
And
got killed by his teammates.
then it was funny that those two were the ones that ended up returning the 2-point. Whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, I would say Keely looked good on the return. He looked fast, and
I thought
he
he
had
was
some.
gonna get caught by a kicker.
Yeah,
I was like, oh no way.
I think at that point in the game, I was like, man, this might be where we somehow, some way make it happen. And then I think the fumble was the next offensive drive. But
No.
so anything else? How do you feel about the offense so far? And then we'll talk about the defense one last time as an overall unit, and we'll talk about the rest of the schedule.
Offensively,
Or better yet, let me ask you this question: on the scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you? 10 being you're very confident, and then obviously 1 panic button.
on the offense,
Yeah, offense.
fully healthy, I give us a 7.5. That's where I'm at right now. Just because I've not seen us fully healthy in a month. So,
And I miss it.
yeah, it's tough. Hopefully after the bye, everybody's back, ready to go. I haven't even seen Devontae Smith like in the building last week at all. That kind of worries me for a minute on how bad that concussion kind of was.
He's got to be back.
Just laying at home in the dark every day. But I don't know. I need to see it fully healthy again.
Yeah, I think I made like a 9, to be honest with you. I think Jalen does best when he has superstars around him. Not even superstars, just his guys around him. Because even when it was just Devontae in 2021, he looked great whenever Devontae was out there. You know, he trusts Devontae. That's his guy. And so whenever he has his guys around him, you know, he plays better.
Right.
And let's not forget, we have Saquon, we have Dallas Goedert, we got Devontae, we got AJ. Jahan Dotson will come alive at some point. I still believe in him. Because if you think about it, and I know some people forget he's only been here a month, like a month and a couple of days. That's not enough time to gain the trust of a quarterback and even like fully understand the offense. But defensively, where are you where are you at?
4.
4? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I just don't know. I just like we said, I just grown tired of the Fangio like scheme. Being obsessed with like a big play is so annoying because you're just getting killed underneath every play. It seems like every single play, you're just getting killed underneath. You can't stop the run. Do you think it's a talent issue or do you think it's a scheme issue?
I think it's a combination of both. I think you're asking for one. You're asking schematically. You're asking guys who are not capable of running that
Run it.
type of scheme to run it, and they're not suited for it. I don't really know what our secondary is kind of really suited for, because we got like a mixture of man corners and guys who would
Sure.
play a lot better in zone. So
I think our secondary is fine. I think even our linebackers are fine, except for Nakobe and coverage sometimes. Nakobe, it just gets lost.
God.
Man. I saw a tweet on Sunday, and it was like, I wish if you put a GoPro to Nakobe Dean's front plate, you would just see the back of the opposing team's jersey because he's always behind them. That was funny. That made me laugh. It got me good. I also think our interior defense is good enough. It's just I think that the edge defenders are the issue, and I think this is where I start feeling bad for Bryce Huff because he's not like a 3-4 outside linebacker. He's a 4-3 defensive end, hand in the dirt.
Yeah, they're asking him to play stand up, and he's never done that in his entire career.
Yeah, that's where I feel bad for him. I mean, there's not really a spot for him on this team because this isn't the scheme that he needs to be in. But I don't know. I think the Eagles will have to make a trade or something.
One can only hope.
Well, maybe for Fred Warner, we'll take him.
Yeah,
we
would never do a deal with us, dude.
We can send old big play Slay over there.
Send something. Yeah. Slay, Huff.
Just and a first round pick.
Like a second.
All right, there we go.
I'm not giving up a first.
We'll put that in Madden and see if we get Fred Warner.
I'll get on Madden right after this, and I'll go see if it'll let me.
All right. So let's talk about the schedule coming up, and we'll do like a every quarter we'll do like a record prediction for the rest of the year. So right now we're 2-2. I think 2-2 isn't bad. I think 2-2 is honestly
under the circumstances.
It's best case scenario, honestly. Because we should have lost against the Saints. We should have also beat the Falcons though. Damn it, I forgot about that game. We won that game.
Yeah, we are a Saquon catch away from being 3-1.
Yeah. So we got the Browns next week at home. I feel pretty confident in that game. But my question for you as I read the rest of the schedule, we haven't won it. I think by double digits in a while. I think since last year's Miami game. So you just tell me where you think we're going to get that double digit win if we are. So the Browns, I think we win. What do you think?
Yeah.
Feel confident about that one? Let's see. In MetLife against the the Giants, I think we won that one.
That might be the double digit just from Saquon.
But that thing scares me because
I don't want him playing in that stadium.
Yeah. Then we play in Cincinnati against the Bengals, who have not looked good at all. I think we win that one as well.
For my sake, I hope so.
Yeah. I hope they lose to the Ravens because if they're would it be what 1-4? Those ticket prices are going down. And Big Chase is going to be in Cincinnati. I will tell you that. Then we got Jacksonville in Week 9 at home, buddy. If we lose that game, I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
So just for record, we have 4 straight wins off the bye week.
I could see it happening. Just because for one, our opponents, 2, surely to God, this team will be majority health wise.
Right.
And I think Sidney Brown is going to be back at some point.
I think
within
he's going
those
to
4 games.
he's going to be like a key piece in this thing. I don't know why,
People
but
forget about him, and then I thought about him the other day. I was like, you know what? He would be fucking excellent in like the dime package that we run, and a little bit of the nickel. But in that case, I don't see him playing the slot corner, and I damn sure don't see Chauncey playing the slot corner. He used to be able to cover so well. I don't know what it is now. He can tackle, but gosh damn, he can't cover.
Well, he led the way with missed tackles, so I don't know if that statement holds true.
Right.
All right. So we got 4-0. So we're sitting at 6-2 going into Week 10 in Dallas against the Cowboys. I think we'll probably lose that game.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to lose a game, but because I'm an Eagles fan, but I got to be realistic. And then a short week against the Commanders. So talk about the Commanders. Do you think they are one fluky bunch, or do you think that they are legit?
I'll tell you what, I thought they were a little fluky before that Cardinals game. I think the Cardinals are a little bit better than their record indicates. That's just me. But they got fucking smacked, dude. The Cardinals got smacked against them. Jaden Daniels looks good. I'm just going to be honest. He looks good.
I think he'll cool off though at some point this year. He'll hit a wall. But so do you think we're going to split with the Commanders this year?
It's possible. Yeah.
All right. So Week 11 at home, Thursday Night Football. What do you think?
Against the Commanders?
At home.
That's a win. I think we win that one.
All right. So we're sitting at 7-3 going to Week 12. It's a away game against the Rams. They'll probably have Puka back. They'll probably have Cooper Kupp back.
I still think we win that one. I don't know why.
I think that the Rams, I don't think they're that great.
I think their defense is bad. I think it's still bad. Like even last year. Last year, their defense was awful. And this year, they got a lot of rookies playing in key spots. And I don't know. I don't think their defense is very good.
Yeah, I think this is a win. And this is all if we have AJ. If we have 2 of the 3 between AJ, Devontae, and Lane. If one of them does go down again, I think we can survive one of them being down, but not 2 or 3.
Not both of them.
Yeah. Then we got we're in December. I think we're 8-3 now, if I remember correctly, against the Ravens at in Baltimore. This one feels like a tough game. It feels like a game that we probably should lose. But what do you think?
The Baltimore one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to pull that one out. If somehow we pull that one out, because I didn't like our chances betting the circumstances that we were going through in New Orleans, and we somehow won that one. But to me, for some reason, dude, if you can stop Derek, I think we have the secondary and like the back half of a defense to where we could handle the Ravens team. But controlling the line of scrimmage and stopping Derrick Henry is going to be the key thing. And I don't know if we have the linebackers to do it.
Right. That's made a good test game. Hopefully we have a new piece in the front 7. Or, yeah. Well, it's not a front 7 anymore, I guess. It's probably like a front 6. But Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a loss. We're 8-4. We're at home for the next 2 weeks against the Panthers and the Steelers. I pray to God we beat the Panthers.
Yeah.
We should win that one. So we're 9-4. The Steelers
I
at
think we
home.
beat the Steelers.
You do? I do too.
Yeah. I don't think
so
the Steelers are very good.
I think we're 10-4 now.
Mm-hmm.
Where you want to say about the Steelers?
I don't think they're all that great. I think their defense has kept them in a lot of football games throughout the year so far, and their offense has not been great. This is barring, well, even still, like if they make a trade for a big time receiver, maybe the one in Las Vegas, but even then, you still have to have somebody to get him the ball. And I don't think Justin Fields has played particularly well. He's done enough. We talked about it either last couple weeks ago on the Hydro and Co podcast. We were like, he's doing just enough to keep him around in these games. And like, if you're asking him to go win you a game, I don't know if he could.
Yeah, no, I agree. So we're 10-4 going to week 16 on the road against the Washington Commanders. So Bryce, do we split this series?
I'm gonna take the split on this one.
All right.
This will be the first time. Well, no, I was gonna say it's 2022. I guess we split with them then.
Yeah, because they're the first team to beat us.
Mm-hmm.
So we're 10-5. Now we're at home against the Cowboys.
That's a win.
11-5 going to our last game against the Giants at home.
That depends on what the division and NFC conference looks like.
So it looks like Bryce is going to pick 12-5 to finish the season.
Yeah,
which I think is possible. I think that the offense figures this out, and I think that as long as the defense kind of does something,
I think we're bound to go on a run here in just a little bit. Might be a hot take, but I think we rack off the stretch of games where we win decently. I'm going to say comfortably wins, not sweating every single one of them out.
Yeah, God knows we need it. God knows we need it. And then let's do a quarterly MVP for the rest of the season. Who has been the MVP so far of this season? Who would you give it to?
If we don't have Saquon Barkley, I don't even think we're 2-2. He has kept us in a lot of games.
Yeah.
So I think it would be a disservice if I did give him the quarter MVP.
Yeah. I don't even think there's a case really for anybody else besides maybe Q and maybe Jalen Carter. But Jalen Carter
could give it to Landon Dickerson.
Yeah. I never remember the front guys like that.
Landon's been one of the ones that's just played outstanding.
Yeah.
I think Cam has kind of settled in. He's been playing a lot better than the first two games.
Well,
but I don't know.
So yeah, that'll about do it. So we got 12-5 after this quarterly check-in. We'll try to remember it whenever we do the next quarterly check-in in like 4 weeks or 5 weeks now, I guess, because we're on a bye week. So be sure to check out that one. Yeah, so since I'm back from the hurricane, the shows will be coming back out like normal, starting with this one. So be sure to check out all of the other Link Lineup shows. Make sure to follow the show on Twitter and all socials at the Link Lineup. Make sure to follow Bryce at I'm Bryce Haynes. Make sure to follow me, Chase, at Cardiac Chase. We're gonna have like an underdog line for you tomorrow. So hopefully we can rack up some wins on that. So be on the lookout for that. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast from, make sure to follow the show, like the show, subscribe to the show. And if you can, leave a review. 5 stars only. We need it. Lift my spirits and give us 5 stars. But yeah, that'll do it for this show. Be sure to check us out. What's day? Thursday? We record on Wednesday. I don't know what we're going to do this week because it's a bye week and it's weird. But just be on the lookout for another show. Follow us on Twitter. That way you get all the latest and greatest updates from this here program. But until then, As always, go Birds.
Go Birds.